questions have come out about the Raptors because people are asking if they are doing enough for their tank with the personnel that is playing in these games. Because we've seen some heroic tank efforts from other teams, and we're pretty much beating all these other tank teams. Why is that? Why are we, who are also tanking, just beating these other teams amidst the tank? Like, let's look at the last 11 games here. 7 wins in the last 11 games. The 4 losses were against Portland, who we had to really tank hard in that one. Phoenix, who we didn't have to do much there. They just completely blew us out. Golden State, we didn't even really tank that game, and they still beat us. And the Spurs was pretty heroic efforts for the tank, especially considering the standings where, the Spurs are maybe nipping on our heels a little bit in the reverse standings. But the wins are against Washington twice, Philly twice, Utah, Brooklyn, and Charlotte. Teams below the Raptors in the standings. He's below them because likely they're losing these games to the Raptors and such. But people have seen some lineups that the Sixers are putting out. Like the last game, the Sixers lineup that the time recording. Last time the Sixers played a game, I guess it was against the Raptors. The Sixers lineup was Lonnie Walker, Jared Butler, Justin Edwards, Ricky Council, and Adem Bona. So Lonnie Walker wasn't in the NBA a couple months ago because he was playing in Europe. Fringe NBA player. Jared Butler, somebody who's really struggling to stay on an NBA team. Justin Edwards, undrafted. Granted, a top 3 recruit who went undrafted in the end, but undrafted. Ricky Council, who is like a two-way guy, I think will struggle to stay in the league beyond the next couple of years. And Adem Bona, second-round pick, a recent second-round pick from the Sixers. That is their lineup. How are they putting out that level of a lineup, people are saying, compared to the Raptors, who still have, Scotty Barnes playing. Orlando Robinson is in, who's, fringe NBA guy, but RJ Barrett still played. Jamal Shed, yes, a second-round pick, but a huge impact second-round pick. And a first-round pick, a 19th overall pick in Jacoby Walter. How are the Raptors still putting out lineups like this? Well, the difference compared to last season for the Raptors, because the Raptors after that win are 28-47. Last season, the Raptors in the entire season won 25 games. They've won 28 already, and there's still 7 games remaining. In fact, as bad as the season has been, the Raptors are very likely going to go over their season-long win total projections from the betting lines at the start of the season, which is pretty crazy. It seemed like you had a surefire under there on the Raptors in a lot of it. I didn't bet it, but maybe people had seen the start of the season, gone, yeah, they're gonna go way under that 30. But the season has lightened up a lot in the second half of the season. We talked about it a lot pre-season. The season would lighten up, but we didn't understand how much it would lighten up. But back on the topic here, are they really doing enough for their tank? To me, there's just not much else they can do. There just isn't. There's rules, regulations around tanking the NBA that stops you from resting everybody. If one night it'll be Pirtle and quickly sitting out, and then another night it'll be Barrett, sometimes Barnes sitting out. They are rotating through this pretty well. These star players never close the games really, unless it's that weird one against the Golden State Warriors, but for some reason they did. Of the last 11 games, I think it is the last 11 games. I think Barnes has closed in one of the games. I think the starters have closed in the late, played the last few minutes of the game in one of these games. It's just the schedule is so easy. And right now, the coaches have done such a great job of making the Raptors a really good defense that they're gonna be tough to lose. It's tough for them to lose games because just not giving up enough points really in a lot of these games. It's just making it difficult for them to lose. The coaches have done a lot to make this team better this season, and I applaud them for doing that to the defensive side of things. They can't just take everybody out. It seems like I would think they're on the margins of an NBA investigation for tanking, but the schedule has just been so easy. Like, it was by far and away the easiest 20 games remaining in the NBA compared to everybody else in the league. Now, the one thing I can say they aren't doing enough for tanking, because there's 7 games left. The one thing I could say is not being done, that should be getting done at the moment, is Scotty Barnes' playtime, because Barnes has played in like all of these games amidst this stretch. Like, yeah, he's missed one game for the tank, and that was this win here over the Sixers, where that was a big tank game, and now the Sixers have pulled way ahead of us in the reverse standings here. But Barnes has played every game. And now, granted, like I said, he's kind of getting 28 minutes per game in this run. But still, he's only sat out for one of these games. This is the only part of the tank that they have not done enough with. And the reason they continue to play Barnes is they are trying to get him to 65 games. And I've wondered, and I've spoken about in a few places, like 7 games left. Why do they care about getting Barnes 65 games? Because obviously that's the threshold for the final end of season awards and teams and stuff. But my stance for a while was, I like Scotty Barnes, but hey, hand on the shoulder, it's time type of thing. Are you getting any awards, man? Are you making an All NBA team? Because like All NBA it would be significant for Scotty Barnes' contract and the max contract extension he signed, the rookie max extension. But come on, Barnes is not making an All NBA team. Barnes is not getting an end of the season award. But all of a sudden, it occurred to me, what might he be able to get? And he might actually be able to sneak into an all defense team. Like I've been saying throughout this little segment here, the Raptors are also putting together one of the best defenses in the NBA. Even with this level of personnel that they've had, all of a sudden, the Raptors are starting to be like one of the best defenses in the NBA. I'll pull up the last 15 games, which is the max that we can pull up in on the NBA stats website. Raptors the best defense in the NBA over the last 15 games. Now, also in those 15 games, they are playing bad teams. I get it. They're 10-5 in their last 15 games. A lot of bad teams have been played. But they're also not putting out a full-strength lineup. But they have just had the best defense. So if you look at the season as a whole, now the Raptors are top 15 in the NBA in defensive rating. I suspect they could drop even further as the season goes on and end up maybe in and around the top 10 defenses in the NBA. If that manages to take place, I don't think it will happen. I cannot rule out Scotty Barnes making an all-defense team because he has been fantastic defensively this season. It has been a huge step for him to be able to do that. Will be big for next season, but he has been fantastic on defense this season. He could well and truly sneak into an all-defense team. So they want to get him to 65 games. 7 games left in the year. He's got to play 5 more. And with this current schedule upcoming for the Raptors, I think they'll lose these 3 games here. Then there's 4 left. Yeah, play the next 5. Sit out the Dallas one, because Dallas might be an important game there. Definitely sit out the Spurs one, because that is the team that is right on your heels in the reverse standings. But to answer the question on, are the Raptors doing enough for the tank? Mostly they are. Like, you look at the Sixers lineup I explained, Embiid is actually injured. Paul George is actually injured. Maxey has actually been dealing with injuries. Like, the Raptors won 25 games last year, but RJ Barrett missed time with injuries and personal things at the end of the season. Quickly actually had injuries. Barnes was injured like the rest of this, like the entire end of the season. Pirtle was injured for a huge chunk of the season. He missed 32 games. So they are doing what they can. That's the bottom line. The Raptors are doing what they can for the tank. They just had an easy schedule, and they have just been too good defensively. And it's cost them a bottom 5 seed. It shouldn't cost them a bottom 7 seed.